So he puts a good defense out there. Oregon going to be set to make a run at people.
That's true.
I think it's going to be a great game to start the season off.
The fanatic, where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk, you know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina, upstate, A64. Yeah, the FANATTIC, the fanatic, where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I
All right, welcome into the Fan Act with Coach I and the Stat Guy. Sports channel for sports fans, by sports fan. Who got the livest fans?
We do.
You know it, you know it, you know it. That's right. We starting a new chapter of the Fan Addict where I got a permanent co-host, my man Jeff, the Stat Guy. He's been a contributor to the show previously and is one of my good friends. He's always giving me random stats and he knows his stuff. Welcome into the Fan Addict and welcome on to the Fan Addict, Jeff. What's up to the people, man?
Hey man, glad to be here. Glad to finally take off my delusional South Carolina fan hat and put on a true Phantom Sports hat.
That's right. As y'all can see, we are rocking the new Fan Addict logo t-shirts right here. So they're not on sale yet, but if we get enough interest, we may start selling them. We'll see, but that's what we're going to be rocking on our shows. Today's show, we are going to be talking about the top 10 out-of-conference college football games of 2022 that we are looking forward to. So, I mean, Jeff, what's up, man? I know you're missing some football right now. What's going on with you?
Man, hey, we junkied out a little bit on spring games. A couple of them playing two-hand touch. Just didn't get it flowing for me. But hey, we're right around the corner. We made it through spring.
That's right, man.
And fall practice will be here, and the lights get bright.
Bruh, the lights get bright, and it's going to get bright soon. I tell you, man, like the off season, it feel like it takes so long for the season to get here. And as soon as it comes, after week 2 or 3, you like, man, we already had like conference championship time. It's about to be over. So, man, let's go.
Well, hey, a good thing for you, you get to glory in the national championship during the off season. I bet that makes it a little bit sweeter.
That's right.
So
that's right. Them Georgia Dogs coming into the season. We're not the defending national championship champions. We're the reigning national champions. Nobody can take it away. By the way, speaking of spring games and championships, those Georgia Natty rings, if you ain't seen them, please take the social media and take a look at them. Things are like that. So, hey, man, on to these games, man. So me and Jeff got together. We came up with 10 of the best out-of-conference games that we think are going to be meaningful and what we're looking forward to in 2022. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I mean, a lot of them are opening weekend. I mean, the first game on tap are those national championship Georgia Bulldogs taking on Oregon. I mean, everybody knows on surface why this is a big game because our former DC, Dan Lanning, shout out Dan Lanning for getting the head coaching job at Oregon. We all like Dan Lanning, but on that game day, sorry, bro, you gotta take that L. But that's why I'm looking forward to it because I want to see what Dan Lanning is gonna be able to implement. I know he's gonna take some stuff that he learned from Kirby out to the West Coast and see how that's gonna go. What you thinking about that game, Jeff?
Man, I'm excited. Oregon's kind of getting back to their old self of they'll play anybody, anywhere. Coming across the country, heading to Mercedes-Benz. But this is a new look for Oregon. Their last 4 or 5 head coaches have all been kind of offensive guru guys and had kind of crazy things within the spread. Now they're kind of flipping the page a little bit, went to the DC route. We'll see what he can do if they can keep that offense high octane and if he can kind of put a defense together, because, Pac-12 struggled defensively historically. So he puts a good defense out there. Oregon going to be set to make a run at people.
That's true.
I think it's going to be a great game to start the season off, especially the coach being there too.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a banger. I wonder if he's going to be like most traditional defensive guys, like even Kirby. Our offense is coming around. We're by no means Alabama style or Lincoln Riley or Ryan Day at Ohio State style offense. We put up points last year, what people don't realize, but a lot of that was good field position or whatever. But a lot of times defensive coordinators turn head coach, man, they be kind of conservative on you know what I'm saying, because they be wanting to put their defense in great. They want to put their defense in good position. So that's gonna be interesting to see coming out of the gates how he actually handles that, man. So, all right, man. One of the games that you came up with week 1, I think is one of the best games. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame has to travel to the Horseshoe. What you thinking, Jeff?
Hey, man, playoff implications week 1. We know, I mean,
right out the bat, right?
No, right off the gate. Notre Dame's schedule is a little bit harder this year. We were looking into it. They do have Clemson, USC. We don't really know what they're going to have. So, I mean, Notre Dame's schedule is a little bit more difficult than they've had in the years past. But this is it. This is week 1. Here's your test. You go into the playoffs or you're not.
Bruh.
And obviously, for Ohio State, there's enough room for them to recover in the Big Ten with higher-ranked opponents. They'll get to play to get back into the picture. But that's what it boils down to. I mean, this is Notre Dame's Super Bowl right off the rip.
But the thing is, here we got another new coach. He kind of took over for the bowl game. Freeman, he's an up-and-comer, a young guy, good defensive mind. He's looking like he's going to be a better recruiter than Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame. But I don't know, even as a defensive guy, I don't know if I want to open up with Ohio State's offense. Not first game, bro. Like, let me get the jitters out. Let me get the jitters out first before I face potential Heisman Trophy winner C.J. Stroud and all those receivers they be putting out every day. But, I mean, like you said, man, it's in the Horseshoe. Playoff implications, game 1. I mean, Ohio State can recover, but let's just say Notre Dame wins that game. Who's to say that they gonna beat Michigan this year or Penn State or whoever? You know what I'm saying? So it's big for both teams.
Right. No, it's a tone setter. And then again, I mean, you mess around, lose that game week 1 for Ohio State. Can you reel everybody back in? Can you keep the train moving down the track for the bigger picture?
For real. I don't know, man, but it's gonna that's gonna be played the same day or same weekend as the Georgia-Oregon to start the season off. So right now, you know, already we got 2 games off the rip. Honestly, playoff implications for both, because, you know, Oregon's always one of the preseason favorites to win the Pac-12, going against Georgia. And then you got Ohio State and Notre Dame. All 4 of those teams are looking to make playoff runs. So you got to bring your A game starting off right away. Next game on the docket is again week 1. We got the Utah Utes traveling across country to go to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. I think that's how you say it. Sorry, Florida fans. I don't really know. I know there's a swamp. So they got to go to the swamp. And I've never been there, but I heard the swamp gets loud. It's going to be a test for both teams, but Utah is bringing back a lot of starters, man. I don't know if I'm Billy Napier, if I'm trying to open up with the Utah Utes, you know what I'm saying, even at home.
And I mean, again, talking about playoff implications, Utah is going to be picked to at least be in the race for the Pac-12, if not to win the Pac-12 again. This could be another big-time win. Florida might mess around and be ranked in the top 25 preseason, whether they deserve to be or not. This is a big win for your resume. And on the Florida side, they feel they got their guy. They feel they're back. They're going back to prominence. Obviously, they're pissed that Georgia won a natty. They're trying to turn the corner quick. This could be a big staple win for them. Again,
like you said, just to reiterate, this is another game with playoff implications. If Florida is trying to get to the playoffs this year, before they can think about, getting through the East and trying to beat Georgia, they got to get past feisty Utah Utes team. I don't know, man. I like the Utes because the Utes play defense. So,
and they take care of the ball. I mean, they're not a typical West Coast offense. They're not slinging it around 80 times a game. Like, they're very balanced offensively. They play good football.
Yeah, and if Utah wants to break through and be only the second Pac-12 team to make a playoff appearance besides Washington, they gotta win this game. They can't lose to Florida and then think they're gonna make a playoff run. It's not gonna look good for the resume. So again, this is all 3 of these games are week 1. The last week 1 game, which is also in our top 10, is Cincinnati versus Arkansas. I mean, Cincinnati coming off of a playoff berth, but they lost Desmond Ridder, they lost Sauce Gardner. I mean, Luke Fickle's still a good coach, and he's been pretty much running the AAC. But if they want to make another playoff run, they absolutely cannot lose to Arkansas, because if they do, it's at Arkansas. If they do, then the talk is over. The only, with a team that's not in the Power Five, if you're not going undefeated, it's going to be hard for you to make the playoffs.
Right. This is a big one. Week one, they go into Fayetteville. Man, the Hogs, they got something building. Former Georgia guy, Sam Pittman, got something special brewing down there. Man, I think we're going to hear him calling the Hogs early and often once we get there. I think they got something special. But it's going to be a good game for, again, both teams a lot. Arkansas is going to be highly ranked preseason.
Yeah.
Since they'll be top 15, they're going to run through the American, and so this is their game. I mean, looking through their schedule, this is it. This is their test. They win this, they can coast the rest of the way to an undefeated season. So can they go down there and pull it off?
Yeah, and like you said, Arkansas is going to be. I've seen some way too early preseason rankings, but I think when the official preseason rankings come out, Arkansas will be top 10 because they got a lot of pieces coming back. They added some pieces. I mean, they lost. I think I don't know, Trey Lund or Trey, whatever his name is, the wide receiver, the big time wide receiver, but they replaced him with a healthy Jaden Hazelwood from Oklahoma. They picked up some transfers. They got Dwight McGlothern from LSU at DB. They got a DB from Georgia. So if they want to make a playoff run, they can absolutely not lose to Cincinnati. So all 4 games that we picked from that 4 games that's in our top 10 OOC games, all could have playoff implications. If nothing else, New Year's 6 implications. You know what I'm saying? So all these teams are looking at no less than trying to get to a New Year's 6 bowl game, and losing these in the first week won't be good for either of these teams. So
not only that, Coach, but you're looking 4 games, 8 teams. All 8 teams should be in the top 25 preseason.
Easy.
And you might be looking at 6 of them being in the top 10. I mean, you got some absolute bangers out there again, kicking off 2022 with a bang.
We definitely know Georgia and Ohio State will be in the top 5. Utah, Notre Dame, and Arkansas could easily, like you say, all be in the top 10. So, you know what I'm saying? And just depends on what publications you got and how they feel about Oregon and Dan Lanning. They could also make a peep into the top 10, 15, something like that. So we're coming out with some bangers, man. The 5th game, it ain't, I don't think I'm putting them in the playoff. I'm definitely not putting them in the playoff hunt, but it's still a huge game. It's LSU versus Florida State. You got Brian Kelly in his first year down there dancing behind recruits. I don't know what's going on with all that. He's trying to fit in the South. Just hey, Brian Kelly, if you watch this, which you probably won't, but just be you, dog. Like, stop trying to do extra stuff to fit in because it's not working. And then you got Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell's trying to turn the corner and bring Florida State back to ACC prominence, but he's going to have to deal with all that talent at LSU always has talent. People don't get it twisted. LSU always has talent. Even when they, like last year, they didn't do too hot. They keep talent in the state of Louisiana. So they've lost some guys, but we'll see if Brian Kelly can put it back together. This is going to be in the Superdome in New Orleans. So it's a neutral site game, but really it's a home game for LSU. So Florida State's going to have to open up with a banger, man. And they ain't got Jermaine Johnson on the edge no more rushing the passer. So we're going to see what's going on. What you thinking about this one?
LSU's replacing a lot, new coach. 2 years from now, Florida State makes it a game. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how much Florida State has grown in that first year. Where have they moved the needle? Yeah. And I think that look at this game, it's a needle-moving game. Has Florida State moved the needle towards taking steps to being back, or is Florida State still the Florida State of the last 10 years? And then on the other side with LSU, man, it's a Power 5 test out the gate. So I mean, it's not an SEC school, but I mean, it's a strong opponent out the gate.
Yeah,
you need a win. For LSU, you don't want to start off 0-1 against Florida State.
No,
before this they have coming up.
Not
So
not going into the West and the SEC.
no. And so like you said, I don't see this game having New Year's Six meaning or anything like that to it. But as far as for what schools are trying to accomplish this year, this game has some heavy meaning for both programs and the way their seasons could play out.
That's right. And this game is week 2, so they both get kind of, I don't know who they play beforehand. I don't think they play anybody serious, so they get a little warm up, and then they come out banging in the second week. Also in the second week, Alabama travels to Texas. Nick Saban going to face one of his former OCs in Sark. Can Sark get the offense together? This is his calling card, supposedly. He hasn't shown it really as a head coach. Offensive coordinator-wise, he's like knocking it out the box. Can he get it together in Texas? And is Quinn Ewers everything they said he was as a quarterback coming out of high school? I mean, he went to Ohio State so he could get the NIL. Also, he could transfer right back to Texas and take over the starting job. Can he get it done? Because I'm going to tell you what, Alabama ain't playing no games on their defense. I think outside of Clemson, Alabama's probably going to have the best second best front seven. And I might argue that they might have the best secondary in the nation total. You know what I'm saying? Because they got Elias Ricks, who was from LSU, transfer over. So it's going to be rough living for old Quinn Ewers coming out against that Bama defense. You got Will Anderson and Dallas Turner coming off them edges. I don't know if there's a better pair of edge rushers together in the nation. So it's going to be a rough one for Sark to start out, man.
Well, you know, the funny thing about the Quinn Ewers story is that the whole reason he graduated early from high school was because Texas legislation passed a dumb rule where high school players couldn't collect NIL money. Like, come on, man. I mean, if the kid's good enough to get paid, let the kid get paid. Like, he's advertising from somebody. What's it matter?
Yeah.
But, look, I think Texas – I think this is finally a right hire for them head coaching wise. I think they are going to take some steps forward this year, the Big 12, and turn in the corner. Texas isn't back. It's nice that the game's in Texas, but man, you don't. Week 2, Bama. But again, it's a good test. Like you said, it's a good test for Sark. Where's he at? How good is that offense actually going to be against a premier defense in the country? I just don't know if their defense is going to be able to do anything with Bryce Young.
Bruh.
And that's my concern.
Well, you already know off camera how I feel about Bryce Young. I feel like him and C.J. Stroud, the cream of the crop at quarterback. I feel like, and I don't know if Alabama fans think this way, but I feel like when it comes to Alabama quarterbacks, Bryce Young's the cream of the crop. Tua couldn't hold his jock strap. I mean, Bryce Young is that guy. This is playoff implications for Alabama only because if they were to lose, which I don't think so, I mean, we'll do a preview on the game later on, but if they were to lose, that'll be a huge blow, losing to Texas. And for Texas, I mean, their goals, I'm assuming, will be to win the Big 12 and try to make a New Year's Six. But and you can still do that if you lose to Alabama, but you don't want to go out there and get blown out. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to go out there and compete. You want to show recruits. You want to show recruits that you might not be back, but you almost there. You know what I mean? Well,
that's, Texas is kind of playing with house money.
Okay.
Everything that Texas has on the table is free in the Bama game. Nothing won, nothing lost. But, man, you go out, even if you keep it close, you show recruits, hey, we're not the Texas of 4 or 5 years ago that lose this game by 40.
Yeah.
So a lot to be gained from Texas, even with a loss in this game. And that's why I think that this is going to be one of the best games in the non-conference slate for Power 5 football.
You're right. I feel like if Texas can keep it 2 scores and under, then I feel like they've done their thing. If it gets worse than that, it's going to be like, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? So especially against, like I say, a Bama team that I actually, have finishing in the going to the college football playoffs anyway. So, but it's we'll see. I mean, Sark's got to get it together at some point, though. You're not gonna be playing with house money. So when you are, you got to make the most of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we gotta stand out in the I guess you call it the South, the Midwest. Baylor is traveling to BYU. I don't think this is by no means gonna be an easy test for Baylor. I know Baylor is coming off a Big 12 championship. Didn't they win the championship? I know they played in the championship last year. Them and Oklahoma State. Yeah, they beat Oklahoma State, I think. Yeah. So they're going to BYU. I don't know if I want that for the first game. You know what I'm saying? Rolling up this BYU.
Provo, a strange place, man. Like
if it's a night game,
it's not like BYU's bad.
That's what I'm saying. BYU's a good team.
They kind of have that mentality. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. So now somebody's coming into their backyard. Oh man!
All I'm saying is for BYU fans. For BYU fans, just hope the game ain't at night. That's all I'm saying. Because if it's at night, I don't know if you coming out of Provo with a dub. I don't know. It's gonna be rough out there. Because I ain't never been out there, but I watched those night games at BYU, and then it don't always fare good for the visiting team. So that's gonna be a great one. That's week 3. So they get a couple of warm up games, both of those teams, and then they'll have to knock heads. And BYU, they're always teetering, on one of the group of 5. They're always teetering. They have a good stretch during the season. They lose some games they shouldn't lose. But if anybody's going to be a Cincinnati, or UCF or anything like that, you gotta win these kind of games. You got to win these kind of games so that you can, build your resume, so that if you do lose to later on, like a Utah State or somebody in conference or whatever, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So this is a good test for them. I think they're kind of playing with house money too, since anytime a group of 5 is playing a Power 5 for the most part, I think they're playing with house money, unless at this point now you're Cincinnati, because now Cincinnati's kind of held to a different standard since they did make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
They've been there. They got it. Once you're there, got to get back.
Another week 3 game. One of your picks, Penn State at Auburn. Last year, Penn State barely pulled it out at Happy Valley. Bo Nix is trying to pull out some heroics at the end of the game or whatever. So now Bo Nix is exodus to Oregon, and they got to go down to the Plains to play Auburn. Auburn hasn't had the best offseason, but I've seen some way too early polls that had. I seen one, no lie, that had Auburn number 10, bro. Like 10.
I've been seeing Auburn around the 14 mark. Is a couple of the polls I've seen is still having them top 15. I think that's too high.
I think that's. I mean, think about it. They're in the West, though. Like right now, like I got like Bama, A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? I know Ole Miss lost their quarterback, but it's Lane Kiffin, man. I honestly don't think it matters, though. Lane Kiffin is.
I think they're battling Mississippi State for fifth/6 in the West.
I think you might be right, but this game is gonna mean a lot because they lost to Penn State. Plus, it's that SEC versus Big Ten, who has the best. SEC West versus Big Ten East. Like last year, it was like who had the best, division. This is kind of like head to head. What's going on? Who's got the best division? Is it the SEC West or is it the Big Ten East? You know what I'm saying? So who's gonna have to claim the fame?
And so, in looking through the schedules, the reason I picked this game is this is my pick for where Lee Corso and College Game Day and company are going to be week 3. They're going to be down on the Plains. Probably going to be might catch 3:30. Most likely, it's going to be nighttime kickoff, prime time. Scary place to be.
It could be because I haven't looked at both their schedules, but I'm almost positive they got 2 cupcakes before this. So you got week 3 both coming in 2-0, like you said. Then you got the revenge factor. It's probably, like I say, if it's a night game on the Plains, I know Auburn can get crazy down there too. So we'll see how well. But James Franklin's been through it before. When he was in the SEC back in the day. So it's not new to him, just new to the player. So we'll see how that fares. Coming up,
he was at Vandy. He went into those games with a little bit different mindset.
Hey. Listen, James Franklin won 8 games one year at Vandy, so you can't take nothing from him, dog. He only lost 4 games at Vandy in the season, dog. You feel that? Yeah, man. I'm like, hey, so if he can do it at Vandy, that's what I'm saying. James Franklin got that kind of attitude, though. like you either love him or you hate him. You know what I'm saying? I like to watch him because he's entertaining. You know what I mean? But
No,
like,
I do, but it's the guys he has at Penn State. They'll go a little bit more intense than some of the teams he was taking to the Plains when he was at Vanderbilt.
that's true. That's true. So on the game number 9, man, Miami at Texas A&M in week 4. I'm like, bruh, Miami. Listen, I fortunate enough due to my nephew, man. I got a chance to meet Mario Cristobal. He seemed like a cool dude, man. I don't know if I want to start the year off where this is the year Miami has to play Clemson at Clemson, and they got to play A&M at A&M. Like that might not be great for when you're trying to turn the program around, because A&M. I mean, I know a lot of people talking about the 2021 class, 2022 class or whatever that they brought in. What was it? 4 or 5 star defensive linemen, which nobody has ever done. Number 1 recruit class ever, but they already had talent. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? They already had talent, but this is huge for Jimbo. Jimbo got all that talent down there. If he don't win, somebody gonna be questioning all them ducats they paid him. You know what I mean?
Got all that talent, no natties.
I know he's still polishing that Florida State natty. He better bring one to the 12th man, or they gonna have some he gonna have some tough questions to answer. And for Mario, I think in this situation, it's kind of like what you said with Baylor, not Baylor. Who was it? Texas. Yeah, Texas playing with house money. Mario, it's his first game down back in Miami. You know, it's where he want to be. He's going to a national title contender. You know, I'm pretty sure nobody's picking Miami to win. So if they keep it close, or if they even pull it out, that'll be huge. You know, I want to see what Tyler Van Dyke gonna do. He finished the year strong last year and was, I guess, playing. I ain't gonna say he was one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC, but he was playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC down the stretch. Now, who he's gonna be throwing it to is yet to be seen. So this is gonna be a good test for them. Jimbo trying to make a national title run, gotta have it, no question, gotta have it, because the West is not gonna be easy as it is. So.
Well, and my thing is, you look at this Miami schedule and just their team, and this is a great opportunity for recruiting because you play some big names. Even just keep it close. Just keep the games close. Don't get blown out. Make a national name for yourself again. Maybe pull it up. And this could be it. I mean, you go and you catch A&M lacking. You got them kind of early in the year. Maybe they haven't figured out exactly who they are identity-wise yet.
Yep.
Catch them lacking and give them one.
Hey, they got
big momentum puller for Miami and what they're trying to do on the recruiting show.
Yeah, they got Haynes King at quarterback in A&M. You know, he was the incumbent. He was the starter last year, and then he got hurt. And then they had to roll with Calzada. But Haynes King, you know, has got everybody's, support on the staff. But like I say, he hasn't played in almost a year, so maybe Miami can catch him napping. You know, I don't know, but that'll be huge if they come in there into Texas A&M and beat Texas A&M. That don't happen very often, so that'll be huge for Mario, and a great step into getting back, like you was talking about on the recruiting trail. I saw an article where Antrell Roll, former safety at Miami, said like the way you get your recruiting back on track is to win. He's like, you know, that's why a lot of these recruits, he's like, and I can't blame them. He's like, I want them to stay home in South Florida, but we got to start winning. He's like, you know, you can't not win, especially those big games. He's like, you got to win against the elite teams, and Texas A&M is right there on one of those considered elite teams, especially with all the recruiting. So they go out there and win that one. That'll be a statement win. You can guarantee they beat Texas A&M. They probably top 5 in recruiting, or top 10 at minimum. You know what I'm saying? Miami is, that is. So We'll see how that pans out. The last game on the docket is another one you picked out: Southern Cal versus Notre Dame. Of course, with Notre Dame making it twice on the top 10 list, it's because you love to hate them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hates Notre Dame until they come to your stadium, and then it's one of the biggest games of the season. You know what I mean? So they got to go out to Southern Cal this year. It's a rivalry between them, but I don't think Southern Cal's beat them in some years, though. You know what I mean? I gotta look that up, man. You got that on tap for me? If not, I can look.
I do not.
All
What
right.
you got?
Let me see when the last time. I think somebody posted on Twitter like the last time USC beat Notre Dame in football, dog. Like, so let's see here.
Right here. This is, while you're looking that up, this is Lincoln Riley. What's he doing year one? Obviously, brought some recruits in with him, brought some Oklahoma players with him. What does he do in year one? How big of a year they having? And what a way to end the season if he pulls this one off.
Bruh, they have lost the last 4 versus Notre Dame, and they lost the last 5 of 6 versus Notre Dame. And even if you keep going back, dang, bro, they lost the last 7 of 9 to Notre Dame. So Lincoln Riley's out there. He got Caleb with him. So Caleb already knows his offense. Receivers can catch on. So the biggest thing is the quarterback has to know the offense, and he already knows that. So honestly, for a first-year coach at a program, not a first-year coach, but a first-year coach at a new program, he should be a little bit ahead of the curve because his quarterback already knows his quarterback. Quarterback knows him. Quarterback is, considered by some to be, one of the favorites for the Heisman. I mean, he still got to show me a little something, I think he's good, but I just don't think he's on the level where Caleb is on the same level with Bryce and CJ. But we'll see this year. So I think it's huge for both teams. Again, Notre Dame, at this point, they've played Ohio State and Clemson and a couple of Big Ten teams and some ACC teams. So if they only have one loss at this point, this game is going to be crucial for them.
Right. So they start the year with a banger, they end the year with a banger. What they do in between will kind of decide everything. They definitely, I think they potentially have the talent to make another run for it. And for USC, are they gearing up to play in the Pac-12 championship? Maybe this game, what does this game mean for them if they're gearing up for the Pac-12 championship? Obviously, Rose Bowl's on the table, but are the playoffs on the table? Where are they in the standings? So this game could have a ton of implications as far as not only the playoffs, but maybe some seedings as far as final rankings and stuff as well. And you always want to beat another powerhouse when it comes down to recruiting. It's easier to recruit against them when you can go into mama's kitchen and say, hey, we beat them head to head. What you going to do? That's
right. And it's all about recruiting because that's where it starts. Well, that's our top 10, folks. Let us know in the comments what other out-of-conference games you think would be a big game. If you've made it this far, we appreciate it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. We'll be coming at you with more content. We'll be doing the best games of 2022 for each Power 5 conference and maybe even some of the Group of 5 conferences coming up here soon. Great first show, Stat Guy. How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, it's good to be on here full time. Good to bring in the stats to the fans and just excited for the future.
That's right. That's right. So go Dogs. And that's the Jeff, the Stat Guy. I'm Coach I, the Fan Addict. We out of here.
Like they part of my team. Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound. Let's go eat. Turn on Fan